36 Hours in the Craft Capital. How to Spend 36 Hours in Berea, Kentucky by Gabby. Meet Sherry. Sherry is a 43-year-old mother of 3 children, 2 who attend Loveland High School and 1 who attends Loveland Middle School. Sherry is a stay-at-home mom and in the past few years has become very active. Seen here riding her second of 2 bikes, she frequents a Little Miami Scenic Trail and last summer rode the entire 74.9-mile length of the trail. Sherry's family is supportive of her active lifestyle and was there to cheer her on at the recent Flying Pig Marathon. She's decided to begin looking for other bike trails outside of the Cincinnati area, but wants to find trails near places she can bring her family who are not all enthused to bike themselves. Her husband works for P&G, so he's a sizable yearly income of $104,000. Sherry heard about Berea from the Rich family, who have been and are currently enrolled in Berea College. Sherry knew Mother Amy Rich from church and heard about the hiking and biking opportunities, as well as the various family activities available in town. As Sherry became intrigued by the college's mission and the artsy reputation of the town, Amy supplied her with brochures from the Berea's Visitor Center. Sherry has decided to take her family of 5 to Berea on the weekend after the 4th of July, July 10th through the 12th. They pack their family van and load 2 bikes, Sherry's and her 17-year-old son's. Using their GPS, they travel down I-75 and reach the city of Berea in about 2 hours. Sherry's family arrives at the America's Best Value Inn at 8 p.m. Sherry chose this inn after reading a marvelous 5-star review on Google+, and agreeing with her husband that it was within a reasonable price range for their weekend trip. The family purchases 2 rooms for 2 nights, one for the kids with 2 double beds and one for the parents with a king-size bed. The total value for the weekend rooms comes out to be $264.52. After a continental breakfast at the inn the following morning, Sherry and her son are dropped off by the rest of her family at the Berea trailhead to experience the Anglin Falls Bike Hike Trail. The trail consists of 20 miles of biking and an additional 2 miles of hiking to see the falls. Sherry and her son had a great bonding experience and took many photos of the falls and the surrounding John B. Stevenson Memorial Forest. Meanwhile, Sherry's husband and their younger daughters, ages 12 and 16, have registered for the Berea Festival of Learn Shops. That morning, they drive to Stevenson Hall and walk to room 122 to participate in a session called Bead Weaving on a Loom. They have paid $208.50 for all 3 of them to create and take home a small weaving of check glass beads. Despite some struggling with the looms and a single incident where Sherry's husband knocked an entire box of red beads onto the floor, they have a great time, and her daughters are excited to have something they created hang up in their rooms when they get home. The Learn Shop stops at 12:30, and the family reunites in College Square for lunch at the Main Street Cafe. Ordering a variety of salads, sandwiches, wraps, and burgers, in addition to drinks, the family spends a total of $74.15 on lunch in this cool and relaxed cafe. After lunch, the family tours the galleries surrounding the College Square, including the Appalachian Fireside Gallery, Peacecraft, and the Log House Craft Gallery. Taken by all of the beautiful crafts in each of these buildings, each member of the family purchases souvenirs, totaling up to $113. Pleased by their new items and feeling a bit worn down, the family walks back to their car and begins traveling down Chestnut Street. On the way down Chestnut Street, the oldest daughter points out the Chestnut Mini Mall and begs to go inside. At the same moment, the oldest son sees the Knights Lounge gaming shop and asks to check it out. The family parks in the back of the building and splits to explore these 2 businesses. At the Chestnut Mini Mall, the family finds a number of cheap and unique items to decorate their household, totaling $12.97 spent at multiple booths. The eldest son buys a couple packs of Magic the Gathering cards at the Knights Lounge, which adds to approximately $5.25. As it nears dinner time, the family drives down into Old Town to look for a place to eat dinner. Out of the quiet cultural center, the family hears music down a side street. Parking on the side of the road, the family climbs out to discover the village trough. Walking in, they love the lively ambiance and the message that the trough supports. The family spends a total of $56.95 on dinner and shared desserts, and stays longer to talk to locals and listen to live music. After spending the evening among friendly faces and cozy chairs, the family returns to sleep at the inn. Checking out of the inn that morning, the family drives across the street to the Old Town Amish store and restaurant for a hot breakfast. While there, they also buy a number of locally made breads, jams, honeys, and more to bring home that afternoon. With the car loaded and their stomachs full, Sherry's family begins their 2-hour trip back home. Sherry's family came home with a load of beautiful souvenirs to commemorate their trip to Berea, and her daughters agreed that they would love to go back with their mother for another weekend to hike the pinnacles and discover more galleries in the town. Her youngest daughter has now shown interest in buying a loom and continuing to learn how to weave with beads. The girls also love their mother's pictures of England Falls and wish to visit it. After traveling to Berea, Sherry's family left $735.34 roaming around in Berea's local economy over a 3-day period. With a proposal to return to the town for another weekend, additional future revenue can be anticipated from this family. Once returning home, Sherry also wrote reviews on Google and Yelp about the services she experienced while in Berea. After her trip, Sherry had a few complaints about Berea's tourism accommodations. The first was that there was no map for her bike hike trip with her son. They had to read from a description that referred to other trails they then had to read the descriptions of. Although the trip was worth it, it was very frustrating to find their way, and they ended up making a detour to get back to town more quickly. The second complaint was that Sherry was not aware of tours through the town of Berea until she asked a local on the village trough. She had wished that on the Berea.com website there was a way to register for tours and see an overview of which locations they could visit on the way. The brochure that her friend Amy Rich had given her was the most updated copy, but it did not list attractions such as the Chestnut Mini Mall and the Knights Lounge, which her family enjoyed very much. Sherry also noted that she would have liked to see a range of hotel prices on the brochure for convenience sake. Finally, upon her return home, Sherry wanted to share the experiences that she had at each of the locations she visited in Berea, but found that not all businesses were on Yelp or Facebook. This discouraged her to recommend these businesses to her friends and family. Overall, Sherry and her family have agreed to return to Berea and enjoyed their weekend trip immensely. With Sherry's feedback taken into consideration, Berea is sure to become a more populous and well-enjoyed tourism spot.